Okay. I wasn't going to do any more of these. I've done Paqui challenges so much, but here it is. And the reason I decided to do it is I was talking about an article that was on the news about a 14-year-old who ate one, and then later on in the day, he was found dead. And the article made claims that it was because of eating the chip, but obviously no one has confirmed that. But it's typical of a lot of news sources to kind of jump the gun for sensationalize things, or either they report things before it's been proven, or they manipulate the headline a little bit to get an emotional reaction. So anyway, capsaicin doesn't actually burn you. It's an oil that chemically reacts with your mucous membranes to give you this sensation of burning. So it can irritate, but it won't kill you. Most likely, if it was related to this, it would have been an allergy or some other health condition, not purely because of capsaicin. So don't worry, if you do try this or you eat things that are hot, they can be really uncomfortable, but they will go away and you will feel normal again. Don't freak out. So my pepper's been ripening and I've been eating more and more every day, so my tolerance is going up. And before doing something like this, you want to have food in your stomach. That will help too. So in my genius, because I need to eat peppers, I just had a cheeseburger with almost an entire peach reaper. It's one of my favorite things to do with raw peppers is to cook them in with the pepper jack cheese, and you can see my lips are kind of red from the capsaicin, but otherwise I'm okay. And we're going to see how that goes now that I'm adding this. So this is the Paqui 2023 challenge. I think it might be in reverse on the camera, but that's how I see it. It might not be for you. Paqui also makes delicious chips that are not hot. They make ones that are spicy, delicious. They're simple ingredients. They're wonderful. If you like tortilla chips and you're looking for a really healthier version of that, I recommend checking out Paqui. But that doesn't mean you have to do this. Okay, so this is called this one has Carolina Reaper and Naga Viper pepper. So the Naga Viper is just a type of pepper. It's pretty hot. I think the rules are pretty much the same, but I'm going to read them. Number 1, in 1 minute it's harmless, it says. In 10 minutes you're a slitherer. If you go 30 minutes you're venomous. If you do 1 hour you're an apex predator. There's no way. I know I can go that long, but I'm not going to record an hour video for you to watch of me not eating anything. And if something does get too hot, it helps to have some milk on hand or some dairy. Here's some yogurt. That will help calm it down. Water does not help calm it down. It's like putting water on a grease fire. All right, so let's have a look. What are the rules? Rules for the challenge, which are inside the coffin of the chip. Number 1, read the warning. Where's the warning? Warning, keep out of the reach of children. Children will freak out, I'm sure. Intended for adult consumption. Do not eat if you're sensitive to spicy foods, allergic to peppers, nightshades, or capsaicin, or are pregnant or have any medical conditions, none of which am I. After touching the chip, wash your hands with soap and do not touch your eyes or other sensitive areas. And I can tell you, because I've done this so many times handling hot peppers, that it doesn't feel good to touch your eyes or your privates after you have capsaicin. It will go away, but it's pretty uncomfortable while you wait for that to happen. But again, it won't actually hurt you. It'll just feel really uncomfortable. Seek medical assistance should you experience difficulty breathing, fainting, or extended nausea, which would more than likely be either a panic attack or an allergic reaction. That doesn't happen normally from capsaicin. Okay, what to expect. So the rules, I read the warning, then I got to eat the entire chip, wait as long as I can before drinking or eating anything, and then post my reaction on social media, which I'll post this, but I'm not really worried about it, whether people watch it or not. What to expect. Made with Carolina Reaper pepper and Naga Viper pepper, this vicious chip was created for the vengeful pleasure of intense heat and pain. So every year they come out with a different combination on the chip. And last year, I thought that what was last year, 22? The 21 chip was the hottest one they did so far. Last year, not so much. So we're gonna see how this one goes. Okay, so after we eat that, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. What to expect. Created for the blah, blah, blah. There's a swift strike to the mouth. So what that means is supposedly the heat's going to come on right away. And then you get a little shocked, which is typical when you first have heat. Then there's the viper hyperhypnosis, whatever that means. Abdomen attack. So, when you eat it, you can get warming in your stomach as the capsaicin goes to your system. And of course, warming as it comes out of your system. And then serpent spiral, whatever that is. All right, let's do it. And I will want to wash my hands later. I'm going to try to do this. Maybe if I just hold it with a paper towel. Okay, so here we go. Came off perfectly. And this chip is fully intact. Sometimes they are a little bit broken. The one thing about the Wooden Chip Challenge is it's so coated with powder. And then I got a little bit of red burn from the Peach Reaper, because it doesn't really taste very good usually. So here goes. Kind of chocolatey. And I said that about the flavor is actually better this year. You could taste the corn more in combination with the powder. That's what's giving me the chocolatey feeling, which is cool. Okay. So I first put it in my mouth about 10 seconds ago. 10 seconds ago, according to my timer. I'm gonna chew it. It wasn't swiftly hot, but then again, I did just eat a Carolina Reaper before this. So, with anybody, if you're trying to build up your tolerance, when the first time, like anytime I'm about to eat a spicy food, the very first bite is kind of the hardest to do because I'm not used to it. And then I start to get used to it. All right. Heat is building, and we're at almost a minute. For someone who is not used to eating hot food at all, this will freak them out. Climbing still. So oftentimes the burn will climb for 5 to 10 minutes. So we're 1 minute in, and it is definitely, this one is starting to make me sweat a little bit. You can see under my eyes. It's mostly on the roof of my mouth and the back of my throat. So that was a really slow kickoff. A minute and a half. Well done, Paqui. And then it's just a matter of riding it out. But the more you eat them, the more you will not freak out as much, and it will not feel as severe. All right, we're at 2 minutes, and I'm getting a little bit of tears in the eyes. Red lips. So where's the timer again? This wouldn't, as far as their chart goes, if you waited for an hour, it wouldn't burn anymore. It's not going to be continuously burning for even 30 minutes, I would doubt. But it's definitely giving me some watery eyes. So your body will think that you're actually on fire, and that's hence the sweating and the tears, and a lot of times you get a drip out of the nose, although I don't have that on this one. It's really different for every pepper. Okay, we are 3 minutes in. I think it's pretty close to peaking. Yeah. Okay, we're about 3.5. I think this is the best one they did so far that I've done. Although I don't remember, I did 2020. Was it 21 or 2020? I think it was 21 because we were in the pandemic. I don't remember how that one tasted. But this one is definitely better than last year. Last year turned your tongue blue. And you can see my lips are all red, which will go away eventually. Some burning on the tongue, mostly in the back of my throat, but that's kind of starting to subside. 4 minutes in. Yeah, it's kind of like, what do you talk about? So let's try to talk about some wisdom for training. And this all or nothing attitude that a lot of people get in a lot of situations, or the good versus bad idea. In training, you get a lot of people that say, oh, never do that, or that's really good, you should always do that. And in reality, there are situations for pretty much any exercise where it can be good and bad. It's really dependent on the goal that you want, the condition of the person, the individual's body, the sport they play, their training history, their injury history. So there's a lot of variables that go into making the decision. So learn to open your mind a little bit more and think for yourself instead of just doing what someone says is good and what someone says is bad, because we're all unique. And what works for one person might not work for the other. Then, on top of that, here's the next level to that. There are things that are not, there might be good aspects to certain things and then components that are not as ideal, and you just have to balance out whether the pros are greater than the cons, right? So sometimes something can be worthwhile to do that has some cons to it, but in the situation, the pros of doing it are better. And that people do that with food a lot too. They make a value assignment to food being good or bad, and food really isn't good or bad. It just depends on what you want. And it's a sliding scale of healthier to unhealthy. We all make some unhealthy decisions. It's not a perfect world, and we're not perfect. That's okay. So just some wisdom. Okay, so I am now 6.5, 7 minutes in. I've got a bit of an endorphin rush going, which is nice, which I think is what they were talking about on I never had the abdomen attack. I'll try to show you what I mean. The inside of the card gives you, this is what's going to happen. I definitely have some little bit of sweating going on the head, and that's going down now. I think the redness on my lips is starting to come down too. And senses recoil, I didn't have that. Not sure what the Viper hyperhypnosis is. Didn't have the abdomen attack. Serpent spiral, I definitely have like I think it's more of the endorphin rush, like I was saying, like just kind of feeling good. If you go hot enough without throwing up and all that, your body does think that you're in trouble and almost like you're dying, but you're not, and will release endorphins so you feel good. So if you ever get really spicy food and all of a sudden it's just not there, then that's what you got. When I ate the tube of terror, I had that, followed by really painful abdominal cramps as it passed through. Okay, so we are at now, what's that, 7, 8, just about 8 minutes now. I'm gonna cut it off at 10. Because it isn't worth watching a video longer than that. That will make me a slitherer. Even though at this point, since the burning is subsiding, I wouldn't need to eat or drink anything. I'd be fine. Although I would do it just because it's good to drink fluids, like water. I won't do that. So anyway, the moral of the story, capsaicin is not actually burning you. And just be careful when you do things you're not used to. Any challenges, think about whether it's worth it and whether or not you're actually prepared for it. minutes, one more. I think I'll just end it there. I'm good to go. Thanks, everyone. Tune in for more training and life lessons. Training, gardening, specifically growing peppers and food, fixing stuff. It's all a part of our experience. So you don't always have to be in the gym. All right, bye-bye.